Hello, hello, hello. Your local alien is back with a reaction to My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 1. Um, so, I. It's been a while since Season 3. I watched Season 3 fairly close to when it was being released, like just a few weeks behind. So, the last time I saw any My Hero Academia episode was whenever the last episode of season 3 was released and dubbed a few weeks after that. So, that's been a bit of a while, but I have a confession. You guys are gonna hate me for this, but I'm just gonna be blunt. I'm just gonna say it outright. I'm not a fan of season 3. Most of season 3 did not impress me, really. The best episode of season 3 is arguably the best episode of the entire show, though. That's Deku versus Kachon Part 2, I believe. That episode was amazing. And the whole Kachon build up, the whole arc, was the best part of season 3 for me. Everything else, it just became a typical shonen in season 3. And that's part of why I've been putting off watching season 4. I don't have high hopes for it. I feel like it's just gonna keep going down the generic shonen route. Even the animation became more generic. Like in season 1, it actually looked and felt like a comic book, which relates to the line Deku said in the first episode. Our lives became pages from comic books, and you could see that and feel that. And I just really like the style of season 1. Season 2 is my favorite season, but I have a lot of respect for season 1. And even when we got into season 2, I missed a lot of aspects from season 1. And then season 3 was. Ugh. If you guys want, I can make an entire video on all the issues I had with season 3. But I'm hoping season 4 will be better. At the very least, I know that this is going to be, if not this season, then the next season, because, all the manga readers are like, oh, wait for season 4 or season 5. So I know there's got to be a lot of development in the side characters, the rest of Class a lot of them getting stronger and realizing their full potential, stuff like that. So that'll be interesting at least. Anyway, I've rambled for long enough. Um, this is season 4, episode 1. Um, I Another mistake I've made is I did not watch the movie yet. Two Heroes, I believe it's actually I haven't watched any of the My Hero Academia movies yet. It's been on my to watch list, and I was actually planning to watch it before season 4, and I just completely forgot all about it. So I'm hoping there's not a lot of references to that because the movie is canon already. The last couple of episodes in season 3 alluded to the movie, and I was pretty lost. I mean, I could infer what happened, but it felt like I was missing something. So I will have to watch the movie at some point. I don't think I'm gonna react to it because I would have to trim down an entire movie to just 10 minutes. That wouldn't really do it justice. At best, I could do a reaction without the video. That way you would get my full reaction to the entire thing and you can just like sync the movie up with it. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. But otherwise, let's just get into this. I haven't watched any trailers for this, I don't think. Yeah, I haven't watched any trailers for this, so I'm going into this pretty blind.
Is it possible to become a hero if I don't have a quirk?
Young man, you too can become a hero.
Just look
I
at
can
the
transfer my quirk
animation
to someone else,
difference.
and that's just one facet
I
of
do
my
miss
secret
the
abilities.
comic book style of
The name
season
of my
1.
power is one for all. One
In season
person
2,
improves the power,
still
then
kind
hands
of
it off
had
to
it,
another person. It
but then
continues
season
to
3 they
grow
just
as it's
completely got
passed
rid of it.
along.
So I enrolled in the prestigious UA High School.
Yeah, it's pretty prestigious.
Toward a
Aw,
shared goal,
Bakugo actually looks
facing
kind of
every
happy
challenge
there.
that comes our way, and
Todoroki still
saving
doesn't.
people. My Hero Academia.
Okay. Alright. New opening. I don't know why I didn't even think about how new season means new opening, new ending. I already like it better than the season 3 opening, which is an opening that grows on you. I hated the season 3 opening at first, but the more I listened to it, it got pretty alright. Those are the top 3 of the school, I believe. And wow, a lot of new people. I have seen this girl in. I've just seen her around the internet. And I know she has a big role in the manga and stuff. I don't know if she's a hero or a villain. That's Overhaul. He's a villain, so I'm guessing the girl is a hero. Especially since Deku's reaching for her right now. I like that opening.
Hero name?
Juko.
All Might. As a young man, his work with genius scientist David Shield brought him worldwide
Yep,
recognition.
right off the bat,
His
a reference
meteoric
to the
rise
movie.
continued
I
after he
knew I
returned
should
to
have watched the
Japan
movie
until he
before
became
this.
known as the #1 hero and symbol of peace.
No, stop!
Now come on. Give
Those
us a
two
smile.
deaths are messy.
Well,
But what do you suppose he meant by it?
I
They're
figured it was a
gonna
warning, you know, to the other
figure
villains.
he was talking
I
to
got your
someone in
boss, now
particular.
after you.
If that were the case, though, wouldn't he have said it differently? You bastards are next on my list? Or something more along those lines? Third year, Mirio Togata. He pays regular visits to the agency run by Sir Night-Eye, All Might's former sidekick.
You're right, maybe he's our guy.
I need to watch the
It
movie.
appears that All Might and Sir Night-Eye have parted ways. They no longer seem to be in contact with one another. But those League of Villain attacks have UA pretty spooked.
wrong with your
Security's
hand?
considerably tighter. A freelance journalist like myself would have quite a difficult time gaining entrance to the campus.
The scoop on UA Class 1A.
No, really?
Yeah,
I forgot about
was on TV.
Shota, I believe his name
They want to
is.
take our picture, right?
He said it was for a paper.
If she wants to write an article about my sticky balls, I'll give her an all-access pass. I'll let her.
I expect you all to be on your best behavior.
And here's my least favorite character.
Don't worry on my account, Mr. Aizawa. I didn't say you could come in.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to learning more about you all.
Aizawa is just so done.
As I said, you don't need to
Aizawa
do
is my
anything
favorite
special.
pro hero.
Just go about answer.
He's got such a nice smile.
That is so not a woman.
Every student here is a promising hero candidate. Ida, if there's a problem, let me know immediately. Got it?
Of course, sir! As class representative, I will carry out my duty to ensure the safety of all my fellow students, no matter what.
That's great, thanks. So, what would you normally be doing this time of day?
Not
Having
talking to you.
breakfast.
No need to be so formal.
Don't you need to ask their parents for permission? I don't know how Japanese law works, especially in a fantasy world, but I think this is our first time seeing Bakugo this episode. Besides in the opening.
Seat number 1 is Yuga Aoyama. His
Of
quirk
course he's
allows him
number
to
1.
shoot a laser from his stomach. Seat 4 is Tenya Ida, the younger son in the
This
Ida
is a good
hero
way
family. He
to
can move incredibly
review
quickly.
everybody's names and what their quirks are.
Ochako Ubaraka
Instead of
is
doing
in
like
seat
a
5.
massive
Anything she
recap
touches can
episode.
become weightless. Koji Koda is in seat 9. and
Koda,
has the ability to control
not
fauna.
Shota.
Rikido Sato.
Thanks for waiting.
Number 13, Hantasero. Shoto Todoroki
Here's my
sits in
boy.
seat 15. He blasts ice from his right
Shota
side and
is my
fires from his
favorite
left.
of the students.
Number 17, Katsuki Bakugo. The nitroglycerin-like sweat on his palms causes explosions. Seat 19 is Minoru Mineta. The balls on his head will stick to anything. Finally, seat 20 is
She's
Momo
my favorite of
Yairosa,
the
whose
female
quirk allows her
students.
to create things with her body. The most likely group is the 6 who made it to the finals in the sports festival. I'll start my investigation by
The,
looking.
the most obvious thing would be, hey,
Although,
there's a
I
kid who
think I've got
didn't
a
have
good
a
idea
quirk
who it could be.
a couple
It's
months
simple,
ago,
yeah.
and now all of a sudden he's one of the
Datsky
top members of
Bakugo's
the
abilities are
class.
certainly on
And
par
his
with those of
quirk,
pro heroes.
seems to be kind of
But in
similar to
middle
All
school, he
Might's.
declared he would surpass All Might. It makes
Pretty
it
obvious.
difficult to imagine him as the successor. But his father is the number 2 hero, Endeavor. I don't see that man letting his son surpass him.
That man.
Sure.
What have you been up to out in this rain?
What's it
Nothing
look
much.
like?
I just got
Shopping.
back from a regular checkup at the hospital. I was starving afterwards, so I stopped to grab a bite, which turned into a whole thing.
I can't believe you're in my store! You've inspired me so much, All Might. Seriously, there's never gonna be another pro hero like you.
He's like, I've been in here 1,000 times before. You always thought I was just some weak old man.
And this umbrella too.
Getting late.
It was really terrible, but All Might managed to rescue the 24 people who were working there when the explosion went off.
My dad was one of them. All Might saved my father's life.
Because I am here.
Wow, you look just like your father.
I turned my camera on without thinking, and the picture I took ended up in the paper.
Your
It's
father's...
a miracle my father was rescued.
First thing you think
Seeing All
about
Might
is
that
it's
night
taking a
brought spark
picture.
to my life.
I
But
see
still
why you
carry
became
with me.
a journalist.
There's a feeling of unease that's starting to permeate our world.
Starting?
This reporter feels it.
Th-
I have
that
to
started
work harder.
last season.
I don't see a camera, and how'd you print it anyway?
It turns out my
Print it.
quirk is a pretty handy one to have when
Oh.
you work in journalism.
That's why his eyes like that.
Look at that.
It's a camera.
So cool.
Ew.
I can produce them everywhere.
Ew.
Freelance journalist Taneo Tokuda. His quirk, whole body lens. He can sprout lenses anywhere on his body. He can even print pics from his chest. No wonder he ends up with so many
Print
scoops.
pics from his chest.
Everybody heard All Might's last words after the Camino incident.
No.
And after you enrolled at UA High, at the same time he became a teacher here. I visited the Pussycats agency.
And the most obvious thing, one minute he didn't have a quirk, next minute he
So my
did.
You can't lie, can you?
Psst.
That's good. After all, heroes speak the truth. One more thing.
Aw.
That's weird.
In 5 years, he's gonna be like, look, I took a selfie with the second simpler piece.
By the way, what was that reporter talking to you about just now?
None of your business.
You guys! Oh my god, it's a yummy surprise!
Awesome.
Is
There's
Uraka's voice different?
So, Spill, did you...
Button.
A candy!
So cute! Well done! I never doubted you!
So
You
cute.
always pull through!
That summer cold. Better not get me sick.
Wouldn't dream of it. I'll be fine.
Alright, we got a new ending, and it looks like there might be after credits. This was a cute episode. Just a bit of a segue into the upcoming season, I suppose. I do wish that we could have seen more of the other classmates, but we've got an entire season for that, I suppose. I'm wondering... I don't feel like that reporter guy is a one-off character. He might show back up occasionally, but there's no way he's going to be like a main character. This girl with the horn, she has to be pretty important because she's comprising the majority of the ending and she was in the opening. So she has to be a huge character this season. As well as Mirio? Mr. Power guy?
The vague sense of
Alright,
unease
after
from All Might's
credits.
retirement grew stronger. Soon, it would manifest in ways we couldn't imagine.
It's twice and
and
overhaul.
become something truly terrifying.
Not much of an after credit, but yeah, it was an okay episode. Not much in the way of plot, but it was just a way to ease into the next season. Um, a bit of a recap as well. I said earlier that this was a good way to do a recap, and I stand by that. Um, the, they made the reporter seem like, oh, he's so good at piecing clues together. The biggest clue is Midoriya didn't have a quirk all throughout his entire life. Doctors said it was impossible. Then all of a sudden, he has a quirk that's like All Might's. That's all you need to know that, hey, maybe there's something going on here. Also, All Might is always talking to Midoriya, and they rarely ever do it in private. That's something between characters in the show in general. Whenever they want to talk about secret stuff, they go to an open area or they just go to the next room while there's an entire class next door. They don't take very good precautions. So, all my. The whole secret between them, neither of them have the right to be surprised when somebody figures it out because they are not hiding it well at all. I'm honestly surprised that more people have not found out about it. It's no wonder that Bakugo found out. I'm surprised he didn't do it sooner. Uh, he was he kind of got a hint in season one. I think it was episode four, but I'm surprised more people haven't pieced that together by now. Um, you've got that Clark Kent Superman plot armor going on. That Bruce Wayne Batman plot armor. I really need to watch the movie. I really do. I it shouldn't be that big a deal because it's mostly about All Might's past, and it kind of already said the things I need to know. He worked with a scientist, and he had a sidekick that he's not in contact with anymore. And he studied abroad in America, and yeah, pretty much. Um, one sort of gripe I have with this show is this whole idea of a symbol of peace. Um, some villains were talking about this, how it's ineffective, and I think some heroes were talking about it as well. I can't remember exactly who, but setting one person up to be the symbol of peace for the entire world, that's just not a good idea. And ever since, even before All Might's retirement, I was like, that's not good. Why are you having one person be the symbol of peace? Of course, when that one person dies or retires or is just not able to work anymore, that peace is gone. You become the symbol of peace for the entire world, and suddenly that symbol is gone. What did you think would happen? And you can't just replace the symbol of peace with a new one. It doesn't work that way because people have put their love and their admiration and their spirit into this one particular person. You can't just replace that and expect the world to be like, oh, okay, this new symbol of peace now. The world's always going to be like, well, what about the old one? If the old one can just retire or die or abandon us or whatever happened, then that means peace can die, retire, abandon us, and this new symbol of peace can do the same thing. It's not stable. This hope is not stable. It's riding on one person. So, I mean, I just, what I was really hoping would be that, especially since we have so many promising students who would become excellent pro heroes, I was really hoping that somebody would suggest, hey, rather than having a symbol of peace, why don't we have a system of peace? Something like the Justice League, where everything isn't riding just on Superman. Yeah, Superman is the spirit of the entire world. But in times when Superman dies, which he's done repeatedly, the Justice League is still there. The Justice League is still there to pick up his slack when he's not able to represent that peace. And if from the very beginning the Justice League was established, then all that pressure wouldn't have been on Superman in the beginning. It would have been on the League itself. So if right now, instead of trying to establish a new symbol of peace, they try to establish a League of Peace, a society of peace, a peace society, the Justice Society of Peace or something. That would work so much better because even when members die or retire or whatever happens, the league, the society, the whatever itself will still remain. And it's that community that holds the peace, the safety of the world, not just one individual person. So what I really want is for Deku, Todoroki, uh, why am I blanking on her name? Momo, even Bakugo, since he's kind of reeling in a bit, for just everybody to come together and say, we're not in this for the money, we're not in this for the pro status, we genuinely want to help people, and we want to do it together. We want to be hope for the entire world. We together, as a system, as a community, want to be a collective symbol of peace, not just any one individual. This is the perfect time to establish that. The perfect time. Because right now there is nothing is filling that vacancy. Nothing is filling the slot of symbol of peace, world hope. Nothing is filling that. So rather than put another temporary person in who's going to eventually die or retire and then keep replacing that person, fill that slot with a community and let a collective group of heroes fill it and represent peace and hope for humanity. But that's just my idea. An idea I really hope comes true. Because it's just it's not good. This idea of putting everything on one person, it is not good at all. But yeah, we'll just see how this goes. I don't know how far behind the manga the anime is right now. I think it's like 2 seasons behind. So I I don't see this happening in the next 2 seasons because they are still freshmen in high school. They still have 2 years after this, and they're only on the second half of their first year. So I'm guessing the end of the show will be the end of their high school. I don't feel like it's gonna go on beyond that. It might be like a spin-off show like Boruto, but I think the show itself will end with them graduating and being pro heroes, just showing what their life is like now. But I'd even be content if at the end there's just like a 45-second clip, a little hint that they are going to establish a league rather than putting everything on Deku. Especially since Deku's already permanently damaged. Like, his arms and his hands, they're not ever going to be the same. He's relying on his legs right now. So if those get messed up like his arms are, he's just done for. If he has to, in an emergency situation, use his arms, he's done for it. Like, he is already walking a thin line, and he hasn't even become the symbol of peace yet. But whatever. This season 4 episode 1, it was a pretty alright episode. It was cute. Um, Not much really happened. I would have liked to see more of the other students. I would have liked to see how Bakugo is doing, what his relationship with Deku is like right now. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, so thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you guys want me to do the full unedited reaction to the movie. If I don't receive a response anytime soon about that, I'll just watch it on my own. Uh, I can't guarantee I'll have it watched before next episode though, so hopefully I won't need it before next episode. But yeah, season 4, I can't make any judgments about it yet since this episode didn't showcase a lot of what's to come, but so far, it's alright.